Good morning, everyone. Yoga. Yeah, that's why we're here. Welcome to Yoga for Energy and Renewal. My name is Megan. It's great to have you here, whether you're here live or with the recording. We have a nice, uplifting, hopefully, practice today for summer. We are approaching, in a few weeks, the summer solstice. I cannot believe that's going to be happening already. Yeah, so we're just moving right along here into the halfway through the year, which seems crazy. So if you'd like to support your practice today with a chair, a wall, 1 or 2 yoga blocks, a small pillow or blankets, maybe a yoga belt, a scarf, a resistance band, or, part of those things, none of those things, whatever would feel the best to you. But letting yourselves shift around, find a comfortable seat, whether you're in your chair or on the floor, or if you'd like to lie down for a few minutes, that's always a great way to start. One of my favorite ways of starting. It's just harder to talk from that position. So if you'd rather lie down, please feel free. Allowing your eyes to soften or fully close. Noticing any sensations in your physical body that might need more attention today. Be naming for yourself your emotional or feeling state or mood. Noticing the energy you have available. Moderating your practice to meet the energy you have. And checking in, noticing what's happening with your breath today. So feel higher up in the chest, or towards the lower lungs or the belly. You breathe smoothly and evenly through your nose. If not, breathing through the mouth is perfectly fine. See if you can soften your face. And your shoulders. Opening your belly. You like bringing one or both hands to the heart space. Into an intention for your practice today that would be supportive. That's something to do with your physical body, your emotional body, or your energy, something else that you need. And if you'd like, we're going to move right from this position of hands in front of the heart into just a short, brief mudra and affirmation practice. So I'm actually going to keep my hand here. It looks backwards, but right palm facing the chest, and then left palm resting on top of the back of the right hand. And if you slide the hands together, make a little lock with your thumbs. So this is supposed to symbolize like an eagle's wings. This is Garuda Mudra. And then just allowing your shoulders to relax. Again, you could soften or close your eyes. You could rest the hands on the body or just have them further away. And if you'd like, you can just listen to the affirmation with this posture, this mudra, or repeat it to yourself silently or out loud. A balance of rest and activity supports all my body systems in functioning optimally. A balance of rest and activity supports all my body systems in functioning optimally. balance of rest and activity supports all my body systems in functioning optimally. And then as you inhale, just opening your arms like big wings out to the sides. As you exhale, seeing if you can bring your other hand in the front. So we won't lock the thumbs, we'll just bring the hands in. Inhale as you reach out to the sides, just to where it's comfortable. Exhale, bringing the opposite hand in the front. Just moving through that 2 more times at your own space, own pace. But allowing yourself to take up some space around you. Something we sometimes struggle doing. This time we'll reach out to the side and then further up, just to where it's comfortable, and then shoulders. Turning the palms as you come down towards the floor. So turning the palms up. If you'd like, you can lift your eyes or lengthen your spine. Exhale, bringing the arms down, maybe lowering the eyes. More time, reaching up, maybe lifting the eyes. Breathing out, lowering the arms, lowering the eyes. And just take a pause there at the bottom, maybe eyes lowered. Letting your head tilt to one side. Taking a half circle over to the other side. So nice slow movements for the neck. Taking your time to go from one side to the other. If you want to pause and spend more time in any one place, you can certainly do that. And then as you come back through the center, starting to lift the eyes, lift the chin. And just one time, exhale, lower the eyes, lower the chin. And bringing the head back to center, turning the head one direction, just where it's comfortable. So if the shoulders start to creep up, reduce your range of motion and going to the other side. And smoothly, easily windward, each way, taking your time. And coming back to the center, doing a little lift of the shoulders on the inhale. Exhale, let them soften. So moving through that a few times. It could be an actual shrug of the shoulders or a visualization of shrugging the shoulders. And then if you'd like, you could take that into more of a circular movement. Rolling the shoulders out, seeing where those tense places might be. Circling, maybe going the other direction. And then moving that down towards a little bit bigger circles with the arms. And then changing the direction there, just finding that range of motion that feels comfortable. And then coming into the elbows, finding some circles at the elbows, or you could bring the arms out and in, if that's more comfortable, or you can kind of switch it up, doing circles and then coming out and in. You're circling, changing the direction. And moving down towards the wrists. So you can have your arms lower or just holding them up higher so you can see a little bit better. And going the other direction for the wrists. And open and close the fingers. So you can really stretch through the webbing of the fingers if that's possible. And we'll come out to little robot arms and just bring one down as the other stays up. And keeping the shoulders relaxed. So you can always have your elbows and your hands much lower if that's more comfortable for the shoulders. And then if your neck says it's okay to do so, as you bring one arm down, return and look the other way. And then as you switch the direction of your gaze. You can, again, go very slowly, or you keep the head straight ahead, looking straight ahead. And then bringing the palms to face forward, we'll reach forward, come back out to the sides. And then either coming back in about the size of a basketball, or you can touch the palms and come out to the sides. And one more time, in and out. And just give your arms a nice kind of shake out as you come down. Let the shoulders really relax as well. Or you could just open and close and shake the hands. Great. Then we're going to move to either a seated tabletop, a standing tabletop, or hands and knees tabletop. So I'll show you all of those. If you're on the floor and would like padding under your knees, have a nice folded blanket there. You might want the floor higher using your blocks under your hands if you have them. If they're wooden blocks, they're generally not super comfortable to be under the hands with weight bearing. So you could also just hold your fists slightly so you have more support for your wrists. And the standing version, you might want something higher like your countertop or a table. Chair seat's a little low. So you can sit the weight back towards your heels and bend or soften the knees, and you can make your table shape from seated, making your table shape this way. So lots of great options. You could stay in your chair the entire time if that feels more supportive today. All right, so I'll just demonstrate with the blocks, but if you don't have them, no worries. We're starting with a little side to side leaning or shifting of the weight from one hip to the other. Noticing as you shift, does it cause any tension in your face? So when we have tension around the hips, a lot of times we also have tension in the face. Just kind of noticing if that happens. And then a little forward and backward shifting. So this could be small, just a little lean back and lean forward, keeping the spine neutral. For some of you, it might be further back, hips towards your heels. And again, we're going to stay out of strain and just work within a comfortable range. Really just seeing where your body's at today. And as you come back through your tabletop, if you're seated, you could circle your torso around, doing some seated circles. If you're standing or on hands and knees, this might be kind of a rolling circle, like you're moving around the inside of a jar. If that circling action doesn't feel good to you, you can go back to the side shifting or the front to back shifting. If you're circling, maybe going the other direction, really trying to relax the spine as much as possible. So again, keep checking in with any tension that might come in around the jaw, the eyes, the hips. And as you come back to the center, if at any time you want to come off your wrists and shake them out or come up onto your fists, that's a great option. Give the wrists a little break. I'm going to step the right leg back if you're standing or on hands and knees. If you're seated, just step the right leg forward and rest on your heel. So taking a little movement through the foot and the ankle. So from seated, that might be a point and flex through the foot and ankle. From standing or hands and knees, you're just pressing back through your heel. Feeling that on the bottom of your foot as well as your ankle and your calf. And keeping that leg extended, we'll slide the opposite hand or arm forward. So we have left hand or arm forward, right leg back, and you could stay here or begin to hover or lift your left hand. So if you're lifting it from the floor or from standing, you might want to rotate your thumb up, keeping your gaze down or slightly forward And if that's pretty stable, you can lift the right toes or right leg off the floor. And hold there without holding your breath. Or if you want more challenge, lower a few inches and lift a few inches. You can always just do this one at a time, lifting just your hand or just your leg, or keeping everything down on the floor. And keeping the spine nice and long, the neck nice and relaxed. Be firming the belly to support your balance. And then coming back in, slide your left hand back in. Maybe flip your right hand over or give it a little roll out of your wrist. And before we switch sides, I take that same knee, the right knee, and come out to the side without rotating the hips open and bring it back in. So we're isolating into the hip by not rotating the torso. By rotating, I mean we're not turning the whole body that direction. We're just bringing the knee to the side. So do you feel your torso starting to rotate to the side? Try to keep it all stable, maybe reduce your range of motion. This can always be a visualization as well if that's more comfortable. And then bringing that down, and we'll go to the other side. So take a moment as I turn around just so you can see the other side better, to shake out your wrists or to rest in child's pose, whatever you might want to do there. Another option of weight bearing on your wrists is not great for you is to be down on your forearms with your palms up. So you can also be in this position. It's just a lot more challenge for your core and your shoulders, of course, to be in that position, but it does remove the weight bearing from the wrists. All right, so I'm going to take the left leg back and take that point and flex through the foot from seated. It would be forward, of course, not back from seated. Or you're reaching through your heel, spreading your toes, just pushing away from whatever surface your hands are on, if your hands are on something, so that you're using your upper back muscles as well. And then we'll slide the right hand forward. We're in that asymmetry, and maybe reach forward with the thumb up. And bring that back down, and then try your leg or try lifting them together. You can keep your balance, spine and neck long. You could pause there or lower a few inches, lift a few inches. So only adding on the next level of challenge or difficulty if you're ready for that and it doesn't feel too tiring or causes you to feel really frustrated because it's too much, too fast. Always backing up a step instead of just quitting entirely. And bringing your hand down, knee in, and slide the hand back in. Take that little rest or shake out if you need to for your left wrist. And we'll do the little opening of the knee to the side. And exhale back in. Inhale as you bring it out. Try not to let your shoulders and upper back drop down and collapse. We're going to push away. So we're using the strength there as well as the strength of the core and the right hip to help stabilize, even as we're using the left knee. Last one. And then come back in. You can take a break here in child's pose by widening your knees, maybe flipping the palms up. And sitting back, you can sit on a pillow. You could come up entirely, really just kind of shake everything out, or straighten your legs if that's more comfortable. So just taking a moment to rest or to move around if that would feel better. And for those of you on the floor, we're going to transition up to standing, but not quite yet. We're going to take our time to do that. So you could use your blocks or a wall, a fireplace, a chair, some furniture. We're only going to come up halfway. So I like to put my blocks together so they're a little more stable, but you can also have a little stool or just hands on the ground. We're going to step the left foot forward into a little low lunge. So if you're in the chair, what you can do instead of the low lunge is turning sideways, hold the bottom of the chair, the top of the chair, and lower one knee down. That feels stable. If you're standing, you could be doing that standing version of a lunge. So left foot forward, right knee back. Again, you could have padding under your knee if that's more comfortable. Take a little shift forward and backward if that's okay for your hip. Again, check in with tension in the face. If shifting that's not available, maybe just stay there and breathe. And we'll switch sides. So you can always hold onto the blocks with one hand and reach back for your other leg. You kind of pelvic step forward. And either hold here or take that shifting forward and backward. If you're in the chair, you can turn to the other side and lower one knee down. All right, so we already have one foot forward, so we could theoretically get up from here by using some support, tucking the back toes, and then using the help of the blocks or the other furniture to step forward and then to slowly come up. So however you would like to get to standing, that's just an option. And grab a sip of water if you need one, especially as we're moving into the hotter weather. Making sure you're staying hydrated before and after your practice becomes more and more important. All right, so this is my balance item. If you'd like to have a chair or a wall next to you for support as we work on some balance, that will be here and available. So we'll start with just finding our feet in our mountain pose. So rock a little bit, front to back, spread your toes if you can. See where your balance point is in the center of your feet. And then once you find that, if you shift a little side to side and you refine the balance in the center. Great. Then we'll bring palms to the heart and reach up. You could follow your thumbs with your eyes if that doesn't cause you to feel unsteady. If you're holding on to something, you could do one arm at a time. And as you look forward, bend the elbows out to the sides. Little cactus arms. You could squeeze the shoulder blades a bit if that's comfortable. And then as you reach up, you can keep the arms apart or touch the palms and look up. Exhale, come back out into cactus arms. Squeeze those postural muscles if you can. So challenging the balance if we're looking up. Challenging the upper back as we come down and squeeze a little bit. If you want to add more challenge here, as you lift the arms or look up, you could lighten or lift the heels or just shift the weight towards the toes. That's challenging, especially if you're looking up. And then as you come back to your little cactus arm position, you could set the weight back towards your heels and take just a little mini chair pose. So if you're staying seated, same thing. You could reach up, you could touch the palms, you could lift the heels even from seated. So much harder for me to lift the heels when I'm looking up than when I'm looking forward. So you can always look forward if that's causing too much challenge. If you're sitting back in your chair pose, sit back out of your knees so you're not putting the weight into your knees, the front part of your knees. Last one, reaching up, maybe challenging that balance, coming into your cactus or a little chair, keeping the chest lifted, weight towards the heels. And then we'll meet back here, palms at the heart. Ooh, okay, warming everything up pretty quickly. So I'll just turn to face the chair or the front of your mat. If you're staying seated, you might want to move a little towards the front of your chair if you're not already there. So you have the ability to move a little bit more. So we'll take the right foot back and it can be close in, just like 1 or 2 steps back. Or if you want to come into a longer lunge position. Scoot one foot forward, one back. Really find that grounding in your feet. And you can just step a foot forward or turn sideways as we did with the lunge in the chair, lowering one knee down. So you can stay here supported with your chair or your hand on the wall, or start to bring your arms up and get a sense of your balance in this position, which is pretty unstable. We'll just hold here for a breath or two, relaxing the shoulders, maybe rotate the pinkies forward. And then as you straighten the front leg and bring the arms down, or just bring one arm down at a time if you're holding onto something. You could keep your back heel lifted or try to set it down, which if your foot is facing forward, it's much harder to place your heel down than if your foot is out. So you could always turn your foot out as well. And then come back to your lunge, your high lunge, crescent lunge, and stay there. Or start to straighten the front leg. Maybe bring the heel down or keep it lifted. So inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And we'll meet in our crescent lunge. And you might want to hold on to something as we rotate open into our warrior two. So I'm just going to turn or bring my front foot a little more towards the center of the mat. My back foot is going to line up to the back edge of the mat. So I have kind of a giant L shape with my feet. So my legs are pretty long. You could have a much shorter stance here. And if you're in the chair, your legs could be more of a V than an L. That's what we're going for, is V or L with the legs. And then you could always hold on to something for support or lean against a wall, or find your warrior two here. So we haven't done our, what's that called? Like our bow and arrow warrior in a while. So we're going to do that one. So we'll sweep the back arm forward, like you're drawing a arrow in a bow and arrow. Maybe let that fly. And then you reach back, sweep it around, pull back your arrow, release. So you can also use visualization here, imagining something you are working or moving towards as your target, releasing energy towards that. The last one as you come around. This time as we release, we'll re-find our warrior two. Legs are probably working pretty hard here. And then slowly start to straighten the leg. Just take a moment here, get your breath, get your balance, and then rotate your front foot towards the long edge of the mat. Slide or step your feet in, shake everything out. I'm going to rotate my stuff around. You can stay where you are. You can see the other side better. So these crescent lunges, warrior postures are pretty energizing. They can also be pretty tiring. So if you get tired and you want to take a break at any time, please feel free to sit and do any of this from seated or just take a break. So we'll come back. We're going to skip all of our balancing things we were doing on the first side and go right to our crescent lunge. So you ground through your right foot, slide your step back with your right or left foot. Yeah, rights and lefts all mixed up today. So having your foot angled forward, and then if that's too unsteady, you can place your heel down. But we're going to try to have that wide stance of the feet and get the balance. And you can always do one or both arms lifted, finding your crescent lunge. Take a full breath or two here. Finding balance. You could stay there or start to shift the leg. Place the heel down as you bring your arms down. So inhale, re-finding your lunge. Adding challenge by lifting the heel, the back heel, and lowering. Or leading that out. Moving with your breath, taking your time. And find our position here. And if you'd like, bring your hand down for balance. Start to walk your foot over to the center of the mat. And rotate on your back foot. So you're finding your L shape with your feet or V shape from the chair. So you can really get your balance first. And in our warrior two, a lot of times we're leaning way forward or we're bending way forward, especially as the arms come out. So try to bring your chest and torso to the center of your body. There's a line coming through the center. And then bringing the arms out. So you could always hold here and or straighten the front leg. You're trying the bow and arrow. We're going to bring that around, draw back, and release. So inhale, draw, exhale, release. So you can make this as small as you like or as large as you like. Really slow it down and focus on something you're working on or moving towards. And refinding your warrior two. Relax your arms down. Straighten your front leg. Hold on to something if you need. And you keep the feet wide and rotate the toes forward. So if you want to shorten your stance and that feels more stable, or you want to bring your chair in front of you or a wall behind you, I just don't have room because my computer's down there. So you could have your chair here if you'd like. So we'll go out into arms straight first. Really find your feet. See if you can angle your big toes in slightly. So it almost feels like a little bit pigeon toe that helps kind of stabilize through the legs. And then reaching up to our 5-pointed star. And exhale all the way back down towards your legs. Nice and slow. So usually in 5-pointed star, we have our feet facing out. This is a little different position with the feet facing forward or in. And then we'll reach up, find that 5-pointed star with the arms. Maybe you wiggle the fingers up there. You want some sparkling or shooting stars as you slowly trace down. And then last time, lifting up. And lowering down, maybe wiggle the fingers as you go. And pause there at the bottom, just noticing any activation, your breath or your energy. And then if you'd like, you could hold onto the wall or the chair, or just slide your arm down one leg as you bring your other hand up to your hip. So if you have osteoporosis, you can still do a slight bend here of the spine, but just a small one, not a really deep bend, okay? Otherwise, you may be sliding down to where it's comfortable and sliding back up. You could always just stay here with your hand on the chair because this is already an awkward position to be in. If you want to add on a little bit here, as you slide the hand down, let your elbow come up on the other side. It's a little bit deeper into that side bend if that feels appropriate. So last one. And then just come to the center, take a little notice of how each side feels. And then we'll start that on the other hand, or the other side. You can either slide down your leg and just keep your hand on your hip, or just loosely at your side and slide back up. Just kind of testing the waters on the side as you contract the waist on one side and lengthen on the other side. And then if you want a little more there, you'll slide the hand down as the elbow slides up. But we don't want any discomfort in the shoulder or the neck doing that position. It's kind of a weird position. So breathing out and breathing in. And we'll heel toe or step the feet back together. Take a little march out. Relaxing everything. Okay. And then if you have a block or a small pillow or a little small folded blanket, we're going to use that for a little extra balance challenge. As well as a little brain work and a little coordination. So you may want a chair or a wall that you can either lean against that won't move or that you can hold on to. So setting the feet to face forward, finding the mountain pose in your feet. And you can do this again from seated in your chair. We'll take the block to rest under the right hand. Keep the elbow along the ribs, and then just open the hand out to the side. So we want this work here. So if you don't feel that here, you're probably moving the whole arm like that. So try to keep your elbow attached to your side waist or your ribs so that you can really focus that work on the front shoulder and really strengthening those postural and chest muscles. So we can just stay with this motion. This is a lot of focus and concentration. Or if you want to work a little bit on some more difficult balance, bring your opposite foot forward. Let's step back a bit. Bring your opposite foot forward. Your left foot would be forward. And then as you bring your arm out to the side, keeping that elbow pinned in, let your knee come out to the opposite side. So you can roll a bit out with your foot and then come back in. So we're taking them out to opposite sides. And you could also lift the foot up and do more of almost like you're moving towards a tree pose in your leg. Try to keep your standing leg soft. Last one. Okay, and then set that down, shake it out. Maybe shake out your wrist. Move this to the other side just so I don't hit my knee on it. And we'll bring the block underneath the left hand. So just take your time to reset your feet, make sure you're balanced. And then notice on this side, as you start to open the arm, does the whole arm try to rotate, or does even your torso try to rotate? So we're keeping that elbow not like locked in there, but just softly against our side. And then noticing that front shoulder, front chest, upper back. So depending on what you have on your hand, it may or may not be difficult to hold there. And you can always just use nothing in your hand as well, imagining you're holding something there. So even though the block I have is foam, it doesn't weigh hardly anything, it still adds quite a bit of extra challenge and feedback to the brain. All right, and then if you'd like, bring your opposite foot forward so that as the block comes out to the side, and bring the knee out to the side and back in. So you can always just keep the toes down. Or if you want to take that into more of a harder, more difficult balance challenge, you could lift the foot up, rotate the knee out, rotate the arm out. We slide the foot along the floor as well. So just making it your own. Make sure you don't lose contact of your elbow along your side. You might notice one side is a lot harder than the other for your balance with your legs or your arm. And then release, keep that a shake out. Excellent job. Not always the easiest to do. And if you're seated, you might want to angle your feet out. If you're standing, we're going to angle the feet out slightly. Again, if balance is a challenge today, you could have a wall behind you or a chair in front of you. We're going to keep the block and start to slide down an invisible wall. So moving into a little squatting position. So I'm just holding the block lightly, just giving my brain a little extra feedback, and then pushing back up and straight. So if you want to add challenge here, and you can hold on with one hand and just use the block with the other hand if you'd like. See if as you lower down into a squat, or imagine you're lowering into a squat, you can lift the block up. So as you bend and straighten the legs, the block comes down, kind of like a bobber if you were fishing. And then as you sink down, the bobber raises up. So you're getting a bite on your hook. Oh, Jim, I think you're a fisherman. Maybe you know this analogy. I haven't been fishing in a long time, so I'm not sure why that even came to me. That's what it reminded me of, like bobber coming up as your hook goes down with the fish. And seeing if you can make that smooth movement, keeping your knees tracking outward. And the last one. Good, and then just turn your feet forward, shake all that out. So in that, on the first one, just take a break, get a sip of water, shake it all out. The first one, we were doing contralateral movement, which is great for our brain hemisphere communication and our balance. This one, we were doing opposite action. So lifting one, lowering the other. So making our brain have to really think about that coordination, which is a great thing to practice. Now we're going to try one more thing. So if you have a block, be a little harder with a blanket. You could do it with a small pillow or a little ball, or even your strap. You could just kind of roll it up so that you're resting it on your hand. You're just going to bring the top hand onto the top of whatever is in your hand. If you don't have anything, just imagine you do, and then slowly switch and flip it over. So we're just kind of turning, and use your breath. Inhale, exhale. Smooth breath as you go around. If you want more challenge, you could always try to like lift, and then at some point you're trying to capture it, come down. But you can always just keep the hands on there the entire time. So it's like a slow pass. And then if you want, again, more challenge, as you come to one side, lift the opposite knee. And then lift the opposite knee. If you want a different level of challenge, since we have already done kind of a little forward motion with the knees, I'm turn sideways so you can see better. As you come to one side, instead of bringing the knee forward, you could step the foot back or try like a little hovering airplane. And then as you switch, step the opposite foot back or try a little hovering airplane. So you can always bring the heel up or the knee up if you want to do that motion forward. Ooh, harder on one side. Or if you want to try something different, you come to your moving towards an airplane or even towards a warrior three. I'm just trying one more, whatever you're doing on either side. Just take your time. There's no rush here. Make it a little playful, not so serious. And then come back to the center. Set your block or whatever you're holding down. Your hands a little shake out. And we'll just take some shifting of the hips side to side, or some hip circles just to release through the back some of that work that we were doing in our core stability. So that was what one of my teachers likes to call sneaky core work, which means we're working on strengthening our core muscles through some standing postures that we aren't really even paying attention that much to our core, but it's working to stabilize. And then going the other way if you're circling. And as you come back to the center, I'm going to demonstrate a little hip release work here from the chair, but you can certainly come down to the floor if you're comfortable on the floor and lie down on your back or sit, either one. So if it's difficult to lift your foot up, you can either step your ankle, one ankle in front of the other. You can have your foot resting on your block if you're kind of in that halfway transition, or your ankle above your knee. So from seated on the floor, it's the same figure four shape, or lying down on your back, same thing, ankle over ankle, ankle above the knee. So we're going to put a little flex in the foot if it's above the knee, and maybe a little rock side to side. If it's not comfortable for your hips to rock, you can leave that out. Just a gentle rock. And then lengthening through the spine. So if you're lying down, just let your spine feel lengthened. And cross the leg all the way over, if it will. Like you're sitting cross-legged in a chair. And just take a little rock of the knees, a little small one. So not like you're doing a twist, but just a little loosening more for the hips and the low back. And then help that leg to step down. And then as we do the other side, might be ankle over ankle, might be foot on the block if you're seated, or you might be bringing the ankle above the knee. And if so, you're flexing your foot a bit. You could stay there or take that little rock side to side. This is a great time to check in with the jaw and relax the jaw, soften the shoulders, the breath. And maybe crossing the leg all the way over if that's comfortable. And you could just stay there or take a little rock side to side. And then as you uncross your leg, you can either have your feet right under your knees or widen the feet and let the knees come together to touch, or you could place a block between your knees or a pillow or blanket. So we're just creating a little restful effect for the back by having your lower body arranged in a way that is the most comfortable. So it doesn't matter what it looks like as long as you feel comfortable. And then bringing your arms out to the side so your palms face up if you're lying down and face forward if you're seated. We're going to roll the arms in towards the body, so rolling towards your thumbs in internal rotations. You can keep your arms on the floor or lift them up slightly if you're lying down, and then roll them either back to where you started or turn the pinky slightly forward, roll the thumbs back. So like your arms are rolling pins that are going to roll forward, rolling pins that roll back to neutral or slightly back behind you. So we want to check in with our shoulders and the upper back. How do they feel about rotation? And does one side feel okay about rotation and the other side does not? It's good information. And then we'll cross one arm on top of the other in front of the chest and take the elbows a little side to side. And just think about loosening along your upper back, loosening along your spine. And you can stay with this side to side movement or take some little circles or ovals. And changing which arm is on top, starting with the side to side of the elbows. If you're holding a pillow or block or anything between your knees, make sure you're not overly gripping it. You can stay with side to side shifting of the elbows or add some little circles or ovals. And then let that release. You can shake out your arms a little bit. And you can use your block, or sorry, nice block, your strap, your belt, yoga belt, your resistance band. And I'm going to come down to the floor, but you can stay seated in your chair and bring it around the right foot. If you don't have one, that's fine. You can hold the back of your leg or the sides of your pants. Hold nothing at all. But if you're lying down and want to use it, you can bring it around the bottom of the right foot. Left leg is going to stay bent. And just bending and straightening the right knee, the right leg. So by straightening, it does not have to straighten fully. I'm going to maybe tuck your chin in slightly so the back of your neck is long. Then with the leg anywhere in a straight-ish position that you like, move the leg a little side to side. If you're staying seated in the chair, you can always keep your heel down on the floor. Just slide your foot side to side instead of lifting it up. And then bringing the leg out to the right side, you're going to turn the foot out slightly. So we're in that external rotation. Bend the knee down towards the right side or outer hip, and then re-straighten that diagonal. So just a few times, exhale as you bend. Inhale as you move towards straighter. So with the stretchy band, you're going to get a little resistance. With the non-stretchy band, you will not, obviously. And then if you come back towards the center, if you're lying down, you might want to switch your feet while one foot was still in the band, or just whatever way feels most comfortable. And then when you're ready, reach up your chin, relax your arms on the floor, bend and straighten through the knee. Noticing if the range of motion in this leg or this knee or the hamstrings on the side is different, and if so, by how much. And we want to notice that non-judgmentally, not like this is my bad leg or this is, some negative thing about your leg. Just notice neutrally if there's differences and what they might be. Like, I have less range of motion, or I have more pain on one side than the other. And straightening the leg any amount. I'm going to bring it out at that angle a bit to the side, and then see if we can bend and straighten a bit at that diagonal. Keeping your breath smooth and steady. And then bringing it back to the center, release your foot. Just set the band over to the side. Let your arms relax, either with the palms up by your sides or palms forward if you're seated, or if you want to take arms into a T or cactus goalpost arms, we're going to widen the feet and let the knees slowly rock from one side to the other. If you'd like, as your knees go one way, you could roll your head the opposite way. It's comfortable for your neck. And you might want to bring your knees up to the center, keeping your feet wide and letting your knees come back together to touch. Lowering your arms by your sides, and just take a few moments in constructive rest. Or you can walk your feet together and let your knees come out to the sides. You can do this open butterfly wing position. My blocks were closer. You can always take your blocks or pillows, if you have two, or blankets, and arrange them underneath the outsides of your thighs or your knees. If you're doing this soothe Konasana, the butterfly shape with your legs, just so your legs have some support and they're not just using the effort in the hip flexors to hold them up. So it can be nice to have that support. It can also be nice if you're in constructive rest with the feet wide and knees touching, to have that support between your knees. So again, we're just trying in this part of the practice in particular to release as much effort as possible, so that as we hold a position or a shape, our body can really start to relax into it. And if there's a lot of effort happening, that's hard for your body to fully release and let go. So you might want to soften or close your eyes. Back to that soft, relaxed belly. If you're comfortable where you are, you might want to stay there for your Shavasana, or you could start to straighten your legs or add a rolled blanket under your knees. It might be more comfortable for you to lie on your side than your back, or to be in a supported shape from seated. So add as much comfort or support as you need so that you can really soften. And gently directing the breath towards the belly, softening the belly. Softening through the low back. Allowing that softness to travel up your spine. Relaxing, softening as you go. Softening between the shoulder blades and the upper back. Softening the back of the neck. Softening the jaw and the tongue. Cheeks, the eyes, and the forehead. Bring down the arms and the hands, the legs and the feet. Softening the mind and releasing from excess thinking. This tension creeping back in, returning to softening or just the word softening. If you'd like to stay for a longer shavasana or rest, meditation, please feel free to stay where you are. You need to close your practice, taking your time to find some gentle movement. Pause on your side if you're lying down and coming to seated. If you're bringing the palms to your heart or just in your mind's eye to your heart, lower, close the eyes one final time. Offer yourself an appreciation for your efforts today. Reading today is called I Did Not Lose the Lesson. I did a lot of things not in the right way. Some may even call them mistakes. I just call them the scars that keep me from touching the oven too long when it is hot. Thank you so much for sharing in the practice today. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Take good care. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day.